Thousands of horse racing enthusiasts turned out for the Canberra Cup today. The annual event not only showed off some impressive horses, but fashions as well.
The perfect weather conditions guaranteed a relaxing day for most, despite the anxiety of some punters. It wasn't hard to pick the winners out of this crowd, with people whining and dining or basking in the sun. Either way, they couldn't go wrong. However, for some, judging the best dressed in the fashion stakes looked just as hard as judging a winning horse. But others would argue it's all in the name.
So I don't mind number 9, Indecency.
Indecency.
I don't know any of the names yet. I'll have to find one out.
For serious punters, socialising was the last thing on their mind. Picking the right horse and amount of money to spend whichever way was crucial.
Azalea Park now, 70-10 win only.
As the race neared, the psychology of winning intensified, and Indecency lived up to his name by not winning. First past the post was Nasabidi. Win, lose or draw, it's odds on. Everyone had a great day. Karen Cowley, 10 News.
And there'll be a full race report later in sport. But coming up after the break, Australian police help in the search for the leader of the Swiss-based Doomsday cult, and lives lost as sniper fire echoes across Sarajevo. Top day for the running of the ACT Racing Club Spring Classic, the Canberra Cup. A full field contested the mile-and-a-half journey, with race honours going to Nasabidi.
Gay Waterhouse was hoping to emulate her father Tommy Smith's success in the big race, engaging champion jockey Mick Dittman for pre-race favourite Cautious Cluden. New Zealanders have dominated the winners' enclosure in the race's 15-year history, and trainers Royce Dowling and Max Lees were hoping that their charges, Double Take and Nasabidi, could continue the trend. It was a day of champions. Former riding great Pat Harland making his appearance as a trainer with the Melbourne galloper Ashley Grove. It was also a day for past champions. The 1992 Canberra Cup winner, the great Superimpose, responsible for leading the field onto the track for today's big race. Superimpose, the winner of 2 Doncasters, 2 Epsoms and a Cox Plate, looked anything but retired as he paraded to cheers from the crowd.
Data goes up.
To the barriers and a clean start in the mile-and-a-half. The favourite well placed, the Kiwi long shot Nasabidi taking up the rear.
And about 2.5 then Nasabidi at the tail of the field.
Into the home straight it was a different matter. The 5-year-old with Larry Cassidy on board, coming from dead last to claim Canberra's top staying honours.
Here's the danger, Nasabidi. Nasabidi raced up, put the head in front, although Long Tan is kicking back. It's Nasabidi drawing clear near the line, and Nasabidi wins the cup. Nasabidi first, Long Tan second, Double Take third.
For Cassidy it was a certain win at the halfway mark.
Well, about the 1,000 metre mark, about 1,200 I picked up the tail enders. They started to bunch up, and there was a couple, one nearly fell sort of just up in front of me, and I got flushed out about 5 deep, and I just travelled up from there and was always going to win after that.
And if the horse makes the journey south for the Victorian Spring Carnival, does Larry want the ride?
I'd love to have the ride. I think I'll be fighting my brother for it.
Sally McDougall, 10 News.
The Australian Kangaroos have helped.
Nasabidi may now be set for next month's Melbourne Cup following yesterday's barnstorming Canberra Cup win. Heavily supported in betting, Nasabidi unleashed a long run from the 600 metre mark to win, going away from pacemaker Long Tan.
With punters on the right leg, courtesy of favourite Big C's taking out race 4, they rallied behind Sydney stayer Nasabidi. In a roughly run affair, the 5-year-old was allowed to settle back at the tail of the field by jockey Larry Cassidy, avoiding interference and unleashing a big finish.
Here's the danger, Nasabidi. Nasabidi raced up, put the head in front, although Long Tan is kicking back. It's Nasabidi drawing clear near the line, and Nasabidi wins the cup.
I was 5 lengths last early, and I really didn't pick up the remainder of the field until about the 1,200 metre mark, and I came out about 3 deep and missed all the interference and muddling and just circled the field.
Cassidy has shared the mount on Nasabidi with brother Jim in its last 3 outings. He's now hopeful of keeping the ride for a possible start in next month's Melbourne Cup.
He's a nice relaxed horse, and yeah, he's got to be ridden like that, very cold. You know, like you wouldn't have given him a hope going past the winning post first time round, you know. And that's how he's got to be ridden, and yeah, he's got great staying potential.
Now fully qualified for this year's Cup, Nasabidi is expected to take his place in Australia's toughest staying test. Judging on yesterday's result, the 3,200 metre course won't be beyond him.
And Pete, that's our sport.
Thanks very much.
Between. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for the big one of the day. Set to go now. Stand by. Starter goes up. Racing in the Qantas Canberra Cup, not a bad start either. Nasabidi wins a Prince down towards the inside. Tough Enough is going up towards the lead. In behind those Moods, followed by Century Rain. The boat builder in that leading division. Wider out, Jovial Prince, Cautious Cluden. Further out was Sibilant, followed by Long Tan. And Pallets on the extreme outside. In behind those Double Take. As they race down the straight on the first occasion, the boat builder ridden for the lead. Out very wide, Pallet goes up. Long Tan between those. Not too far away, Cautious Cluden, followed by Century Rain. Sibilant on the outside, further back Tough Enough and Moods. Indecency out 3 wide, followed by Double Take. About 2 behind those Windsor Prince, followed by Glen Post. The next one was Ashley Grove, followed by Successful Bid. Up on the outside, 3 wide, Jovial Prince. And about 2.5 then Nasabidi at the tail of the field. The cup field goes up the side now, and it's Long Tan. Long Tan is taken on by Sibilant. Sibilant strides to the leader, half a length in front of Long Tan. Now Cautious Cluden, third on the outside of Pallet. A length behind those, the boat builder, followed further back in the field, Century Rain. Tough Enough is on the inside, 3/4 of a length off Moods. A length or so behind those Double Take, then Indecency. Windsor Prince on the outside, back behind those Ashley Grove. A half a length Successful Bid on the outside. Back behind those Jovial Prince and Glen Post, and about 2 Nasabidi at the tail. As they race down the back at the 1,000, Long Tan again goes to the lead. Long Tan about a half a length in front of Sibilant on the outside. In behind those then came Cautious Cluden. There goes Windsor Prince. Windsor Prince taking off, followed further back in the field. Pallet and Tough Enough's on the inside. Further back behind those in the field then Century Rain. Over along the inside was Double Take as they leave the back and race down the side. The boat builder's there. Further back behind those starting a run was Successful Bid. In behind those next was Moods, followed by Indecency. Nasabidi taking off, gaining ground, followed by Glen Post. In behind those Jovial Prince and Ashley Grover's last as they race down the side. They've got about 5.50 to go and Long Tan has kicked away. Long Tan is nicely clear as they race towards the turn, followed by Windsor Prince. Cautious Cluden moving to second, going out after the leader. In behind those Century Rain, and the next one was Successful Bid, and Nasabidi coming down the outside. They're in the straight and Long Tan is nicely clear. Cautious Cluden, now Nasabidi. Here comes Nasabidi on the outside, and further back behind those Successful Bid. Long Tan getting tired. Here's the danger, Nasabidi. Nasabidi raced up, put the head in front, although Long Tan is kicking back. It's Nasabidi drawing clear near the line, and Nasabidi wins the cup. Nasabidi first, Long Tan second, Double Take third, then Successful Bid Ashley Grove. Jovial Prince followed then by Indecency. Cautious Cluden couldn't go on. Century Rain followed then by Tough Enough, Pallet, well back Moods. Then Windsor Prince, the boat builder Glen Post, and the last one to pull up in the Qantas Cup was Sibilant. Stand by, coming from the tail of the field, Nasabidi, a great ride by Larry Cassidy. He took off coming down the side, and after a bit of a struggle with Long Tan, finished too strongly in the straight, and number 10 Nasabidi has taken out the Qantas Canberra Cup of 1994. Nasabidi trained by Max Lees at Broadmeadow, a chestnut horse 5 by Nassapur out of Jitta Bickley, I think it is, or Jitta Biddy. Yeah, Jilta Biddy, the mare, raced by KJ and Mrs. H. Delphos. Popular owners from Newcastle, trained by Max Lees, Larry Cassidy. Now number 4 Long Tan, Glenn Boss second. A grey gelding 5 by Sir Tristram out of Battle Edition, trained by Lee Friedman at Randwick. And number 3 Double Take, trained by Royce Dowling at Cambridge in New Zealand. And the rider Bill Aspros, but a solid win to Nasabidi in the Qantas Canberra Cup of 1994. And now, no doubt there's a lot of excited viewers and listeners up in the Newcastle area right now, following the win of Nasabidi in the Qantas Cup, and a super ride by Larry Cassidy. Well, Long Tan kicked away at the top of the straight. Cautious Cluden was always prominent, but he weakened noticeably in the straight. He made a fleeting dash after the leader. He moved to second at the top of the straight, but then he started to wilt and he dropped right out of the race, and it was left then to Nasabidi, who swept around the outside to take the lead, and after a short struggle with Long Tan, proved too strong in the run to the line. Nasabidi beat Long Tan with Double Take third. Now the time for the race, 2:27.9. Now that is just outside the record held by Native Neptune. The record is 2:27.03, and Nasabidi has recorded 2:27.9. Now the fourth place getter was number 14, that being Successful Bid, and number 5 Ashley Grove finished 5th. So the numbers in the Qantas Canberra Cup are 10.43, 2:27.9 the time. I'll send margins. There they go now. The winner scored by 1 1/4 length. The winning margin 1 1/4 length, 3 lengths, second and third, and the last 637.2. So the numbers 10.43, 1 1/4 length by 3, 2:27. 1:07.9 the time, and I'll send weight down the line after the running of race 5, the Qantas Canberra Cup.